The Minister for Public Housing, Dr Chris Burns, joined me earlier today. Chris Burns, thank you for joining us on State Line. That story paints a pretty disappointing picture of the current state of housing in Ngukurr. Essentially, Aboriginal people desperate for basic housing and reduced overcrowding are not going to have anywhere near the number of houses they say you agreed upon. What do you say to them?
Well, Claire, there's a substantial investment going on at Ngukurr, $30 million for 53 new houses and approximately 50 refurbs and rebuilds. So it is a substantial investment, but we're looking at decade upon decade of neglect. And this thing isn't going to be turned around overnight. It's going to take a sustained effort over many decades.
But there is confusion. They do believe that you originally agreed to more houses. Why is there so much confusion about how many homes were to be built in Ngukurr?
Well, I'm sorry if there's been some misunderstanding on the part of people at Ngukurr. But one thing is clear, this is a substantial investment. This is $30 million being invested in Ngukurr.
They did believe that they were going to have a substantially greater number of new houses and have now since learnt along the way that many will be demolished, thereby reducing the overall amount of new houses in effect. Did you know this before the agreement was made?
Well, all these matters are scoped out and have been scoped out as part of the ongoing work of CHIP. This is a large job right across the territory. Now, I understand the housing stock at Ngukurr has suffered from years of neglect. There are other issues, as I'm advised, in terms of the hardness of the water there. But at the end of the day, people will have 53 new houses and up to 50 refurbs and rebuilds.
Were they misled about the number of houses that would soon be existing in Ngukurr, intentionally misled or otherwise? Have they been misled?
Well, the fact of the matter is that there's $30 million being spent there. We're doing the best that we can, given the stock that's there, and I think people should understand, and I hope people at Ngukurr understand, that we are doing our best with a substantial amount of money of $30 million. Those houses, as I understand it, weren't able to be fixed in any way, and that's why we need the new houses, that's why we need the refurbs. But it's not as if it's just a couple of $1 million. We're actually talking about $30 million are being invested in Ngukurr. And really, you know, sometimes I wonder, there's a lot going on, but people just seem to find the negatives. There are positives there, and really, at the end of the day, those people will have new houses.
OK, so let's look beyond the first 5 years. What will happen after the first 5 years of CHIP? How many more homes can communities like Ngukurr expect then? Because surely, based on the numbers of 750 new homes and a similar number of either condemned homes or given up homes, you acknowledge surely that they'll need more than this initial 5-year period.
Well, I've always acknowledged that. I mean, the need is so great out there. There's been decades of neglect, both in terms of the building activity and the repairs and maintenance.
So there'll definitely be more houses built in communities like Ngukurr after the 5-year period?
Well, of course, there's going to be more houses built as part of the 10-year National Partnership Agreement. But what I've been saying all along is it's going to take decades of commitment. And that's why it's important, whichever Commonwealth Government is in power, whether it be Labor or Coalition, that a commitment is made. And certainly that's what I'm looking for. That's the only thing that's really going to address this issue. It's going to be a sustained, committed effort over decades.
Chris Burns, thank you for joining us on State Line.
Thank you, Claire.